Hey, Uncle Chimpus here. So it's been a while. Today, as promised, we're continuing with the Randomizer series. Quick recap for everyone new. The world gets shuffled into different level brackets. Hardcore rules, 1 life. And after we lose 3 characters, the whole thing resets. Class and race rolled online. We have lost 9 characters so far. Last time we made it to level 50, which was the record at the time. And as I mentioned back in Season 1, I wanted to introduce some roguelike elements into the game. I took the best ideas from the Chaos game mode and brought them over here. Let me go over what's new. First, the world is being corrupted. The further we get in, the more modified zones become. I'm not going to spoil everything, but here are some examples. Blood Moon. Enemies deal 50% more damage and respawn 3 times faster. Titan's Grip. Some mobs get promoted to elites with 30% more health. Treasure. 50% increased drop rate. When we create our first character, 10 zones get afflicted. Every 10 levels after that, another 4 get added. Zone modifiers can stack multiple times, so the late game gets genuinely rough. To make all of this survivable, there's an achievement system. The rewards are significant this time. HP regen bonuses, extra skill points, the ability to use any weapon or armor on any class, and increases to level cap as well. This time I'm doing everything without bots, so that means solo dungeons, maybe even some of the raid bosses could be survivable. I genuinely don't know how far we'll get, so let's find out.
Okay.
And our first character that we roll is an Orc Rogue. We spawn in Tanaris, and enemies are camped at every exit from the town. I find a safe spot and pull what I can handle at the moment, and level carefully. Rogue is fine in a one-on-one fight, but fighting multiple enemies can be really rough. The area doesn't offer much, no trainers, barely any merchants. Best I found was a thrown weapon upgrade at level 11. Still, I'm excited about Rogue. Plate armor is unlockable through the achievement system, and I think a rogue tank build could actually work. While leveling along the eastern coast, I noticed that the coast is clear, so I decided to swim north. I wanted to test this back in Season 1, but died before getting the chance. It takes a while as we're swimming along the coast, but slowly we are making progress. The fatigue meter shows up from time to time, but we manage to get ashore just in time. We get close to Dustwallow Marsh, and it's bracket 4. Too dangerous, so I Hearthstone out. Back in Tanaris, I decide to scout out Thousand Needles as well. I carefully navigate through the enemies, and I see that the zone is bracket 3. And this is the first zone that we encountered that has a modifier. It's been afflicted with the Swarm modifier. That means enemies have increased aggro range and have faster respawns. This is definitely too tough for us to handle, so I decide to scout out Ungoro Crater 2. We make our way there, as it turns out it's bracket 2. Right level, but still a bit much for us to handle. So, I keep on grinding in Tanaris. I get some chests, I get myself a white dagger upgrade, not much better, but still, every little bit counts. I even encounter some rare enemies that I defeat for achievement progress, but they do not drop anything worthwhile. I reach level 10, and then the corruption expands. 4 more zones get afflicted. Any of the zones that I've already revealed on the map, the modifier shows up immediately. And as we can see, Ungoro got inflicted with Swarm too. Increased aggro range at this level is punishing when every fight is already a challenge. I push towards the crater anyway. Near the border of the Ungoro crater, I notice that some of the enemies are bleeding in. This could be actually a blessing in disguise. They're less densely packed, so maybe I can farm them one by one. I see a level 12 ghost that is a rare enemy. Fighting such an enemy could be risky, but I need all of the gear upgrades that I can get, so I decide to pull it. And I die. The ghost was too strong. So far, the achievements that we have unlocked are Die 1 time, that rewards us with a minor healing potion on our next character creation. And also, reach level 10. The XP rate has been increased from 3 times to 3.5 times, but now 14 zones are corrupted instead of 10. And next up, we roll a Gnome Warlock, and I'm really excited for this one. This class has a real endgame if we can get there. Enough skill points to fill 2 full talent branches, demonic pact, plate armor, siphon life, a warlock that can sustain through dungeon bosses. But we're a long way from that. We start in Ashara, as far from a warlock trainer as you can get for Alliance. There are no Alliance warlock or demon trainers anywhere in Kalimdor. Nearest boat options are either Darkshore, Dustwallow, or the Barrens. All a gamble at this level, so I grind. Ashara, as I have learned so far, has some pretty reliable chest spawns. I know where they are, and I start farming. While leveling, I scout out Ashenvale, and as it turns out, it's bracket 3. I can see one enemy on the road, but my experience tells me that I could probably make it across if I needed to. The main road in Ashenvale is not that crowded, but it wouldn't provide much benefit at this moment. Instead, I tried swimming to Durotar, along the eastern coast of Ashenvale. And then, I noticed some enemies in Durotar, and they're bracket 3. I'm not running through that. Thankfully, swimming is a much safer option than running, so I continue on south. Enemies in the water are dangerous, but they follow predictable paths. I try to swim as far as possible from the coast. There are some rare elite enemies out here, so one hit is probably going to kill me. After about 30 minutes of swimming, something aggroes me. I immediately go in the opposite direction. There was an elite humanoid that I haven't spotted. And the combat text clears. I watch his route, time a gap, and make it ratchet. It's bracket 2, but 2 modifiers are active here. So, fighting any of the enemies could be extremely dangerous. They will have insane health pools, and I don't think I could fight them very easily. So, I need to level a bit. I grab the flight path and check the pier. A couple of elite enemies near the boat. I can't fight them as they're level 16. But I just need to reach the ship. If I can somehow make it into the ship, I could then get into Stranglethorn Vale and start swimming north from there. So far, this has worked pretty well. But just to ensure that I survive the enemies that are on the pier, I need to level a bit. So I go back to Ashara. I decide to stay here until I at least farm 10 gold for the achievement. After a little bit of leveling, I go back to Ratchet and start running when I see the ship. The mobs aggro onto me pretty quickly, they daze me, but I make it into the ship. They can't follow me here, so I'm safe. Let's see what the bracket of Stranglethorn Vale is. Maybe we could grind out the Grandmaster Arena Trinket once again. But it looks like this is not going to be possible as Stranglethorn is bracket 4, and also corrupted. So I jump out and start swimming north. Finally, my luck turns around, and as it turns out, Westfall is bracket 1, with no modifiers. While there, I decide to complete a couple of quests for the achievement progress. And after that, I try to push towards Elwynn. When I get near the zone, I notice that the enemies are going to be bracket 3. Looks like I'm going to have a hard time trying to sneak through this area. So, first I decide to go to Duskwood instead. Duskwood is bracket 2. I farm some enemies there, and start going north, back to Elwynn. I swim across the river, and get on the main path towards the city. A starving mountain lion finds me on the path.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
The achievements that we got this run are: get 10 gold in a single run. So, any future character is going to start with 1 gold after character creation. And for our last life, we roll an Undead Priest, who starts in Stone Talon Mountains. This is actually a solid starting area, especially for Priest. There are some decent merchants here, and an enchanting trainer to boot. Now that I have 1 gold from the last achievement, I can use it to buy 6 slot bags, which is going to make my life a little bit more comfortable. Enchanting means a wand, and a wand is the only real DPS option for a priest with no trainer access. To make one, I need materials, which means farming greens. When I reach level 8, I decide to check Desolus on the way to find some chests. It's bracket 2, and it's corrupted as well. Elites deal double damage. Mob density is low here, so I decide to push through, to Shadow Prey Village. I know there's a fishing trainer in town. There are some achievements for reaching level 75 and 150 fishing. And I want to complete any achievements that I can. Besides that, maybe I could get some green items from the chests you can fish out. That would help with enchanting too. On the way to the village, I encounter a few rare enemies. A couple of them I can defeat, but Geomancer almost kills me. Thankfully, Priest has pretty good sustain, and I make it out alive. I get into Shadow Prey Village, get myself a fishing rod, pick up the flight path, and start fishing. At first I reach level 75 fishing, which means higher skill up rate for all skills, and also fishing 150, which means all future characters start with fishing already learned. Besides that, as people pointed out back in Season 1, fishing pole accuracy scales with fishing skill. So I grab myself a strong fishing pole. And at this point it's actually better DPS than my Smite rank 1. I still don't have access to a trainer, so I guess I'm going to use the fishing rod for now. Besides the fishing rod, I managed to get some extremely useful consumables. Rumsey's Rum Black Label, which effectively doubles my hit points, which is going to come in handy as I decide to make my way to Crossroads. If you remember, this area has been inflicted with 2 corruption modifiers, making it pretty difficult. The reason why I want to go to Crossroads is because I didn't manage to get any greens from fishing. I know that there are some vendors back in Crossroads that sell some cheap greens that I can disenchant. So I make my way there, and fight a couple of rare enemies that I encounter. Fishing rod accuracy is pretty good at the moment. Besides that, I can also use all my mana only for healing, so as long as the enemy can't out DPS me, I should be fine. And we finally make it to Crossroads. The guards there have been replaced with low-level enemies, so I disenchant all of the items that I bought, fly back to Stone Talon Mountains, and craft a runed copper rod. Still, I need level 10 enchanting for the wand. I'm level 6. Back at Ratchet, I know that one of the merchants sells some bracer items, as I don't have a bracer at the moment, and this is the only way I can level up my enchanting. I grab it, hit 10 enchanting, and make the wand. And on the way to Ratchet, I fight 2 more rares. So far we have killed 6 total, and with all of these rares defeated, we have completed another achievement. Kill 5 different rare mobs, which grants us 0.1 talent point gain. Doesn't sound like much, but it's basically a free talent point every 10 levels for the rest of the run. And it works retroactively, so if you're even level 50, you still get the appropriate amount. Still, no class abilities. The mainland route to Orgrimmar is blocked. I'm speaking from experience here. So I do the opposite of what I did with the Gnome. Instead of swimming from Ashara to Ratchet, I swim from Ratchet to Ashara. Dodge all the elites, about 20 minutes, then south through the river into Orgrimmar. This time around, I don't notice as many enemies in the city as with the troll. And also, maybe that's because the priest trainer is really near the exit. I go to him, I grab everything I can, and also pick up mining as well. The current plan is to drop enchanting at level 75 after we completed the achievement, then to push smithing and mining. Smithing will unlock new armor types, and I'm really excited about the idea of running a priest with plate armor. Besides that, leatherworking and alchemy are also interesting options too. Leatherworking will allow me to equip leather armor on any class, and alchemy will allow us to use poisons on any class too, if we get far enough that is. All of these have a 225 skill requirement. With better heals and a real weapon, it's time to hunt rares. I go to Desolus first, as it doesn't have many rare modifiers, and I find some rare enemies. 1, then 2, then 3, then 6, then 7, then 11. We completed another achievement, kill 15 different rare mobs, which grants us once again plus 0.1 talent point gain. After scouting out most of the area, I decide to go to Barrens as well, and the difference is hard to ignore. At first, I just felt weak when I got here, but comparing the 2 zones side by side, a level 9 mob in the Barrens is much more difficult than a level 12 mob in Desolus. The double HP modifier changes how combat actually feels, not just the numbers. There are moments where running is the only play, and getting out with 30% HP left feels like a win. I have to run on some occasions, and honestly this area creates a feeling of anxiety. But while I'm here, I should probably scout out Mulgore. I get near its entrance, it's bracket 3. But I have to say, this time around we're unlocking the map insanely fast. I guess that's what happens when you take unnecessary risks. But that's probably going to be it for this video. It's only going to get harder from here, but let's leave it for the next episode. We're going to go for the Greater Magic Wand, and we'll try to unlock the male armor type for every character. That means getting to 225 smithing. So, if you want to see a priest with male armor next episode, stick around. See you next time.